So it's sort of funny how this ended up working. I ended up doing the weapons belt series, whatever, and now I'm doing the exchange of coats, which I wish now I would have done ahead of time because it goes directly together. But hey, this is how it happens. So we'll be talking about that tonight. My first scripture will end up being in 1 Samuel 13. It'll be verse 3, but it'll be a little bit before I actually start reading that. All right, so in order for us to understand or to see a need to exchange coats, we have to understand what the coat represents and what's the meaning for it, or what the meaning of it is. So the meaning for a coat is a certain. The coat is or contains the symbols of all the authority of a family, the tribe, or individual. In our time, today's military dress uniform. From the coat, one can discern authority and obedience and position. So that's just a small thing as far as the coat. So in general, with them wearing a coat, you clearly see who I am, because what I am represents the coat. That's a part of, and so each and every one of us, we have our own coat. And so God showed me this in two ways. This time it'll end up being the physical side. Next time it'll be the spiritual side. So more so, we'll be talking more about the spiritual side tonight. So I'll give you the last ending of the definition. It said, one can discern authority and position. So I looked up the definition for authority, and it means the power or right to give orders, make decisions, and enforce obedience. The next one, the position definition, is a place where someone or something is located or has been put. So as far as the first definition, it clearly shows the power that you have. It exemplifies all the power that you have and the authority that you have and what you can control, and making decisions in whatever you're doing. And then the position is the area that you are in right now, the area that you're in your life. And so that's why, to me, the coat goes so well with us, because, I mean, it just shows who we are. And what we've been through, where we're going, the growth, and the power that we have into, in total. So first we'll be talking about, so throughout the whole study, I'll end up talking about two main stories. And these two main stories have been mentioned about coats or whatever. And so the first story would be about David and Jonathan. And so that's where our first text will actually end up starting at. But it's just amazing to see the progress that these guys went through in their lives to build them up and build their coat up to them being who they were, for God, in God, through God. Alright, so Minister, if you don't mind, could you read verse 3 for me? And so
How do we do?
Jonathan smote the Philistine garrison at Gibeah, and the Philistine heard of it, and Saul blew the trumpet throughout all the land, saying, "Let the Hebrews hear." And all Israel heard that Saul had defeated the Philistine garrison, and also that Israel had become an abomination to the Philistines. And the people were called out to join Saul at Gilgal.
All right, so originally, before I started this study, honestly, I never knew that Jonathan was the warrior that he was. Originally, I just thought, I don't know why, but I knew the relationship that him and David had, but I didn't know up until this point. And so when I started to read, I was like, man, I didn't know. And so we'll get further into it, but it just explains, you know, everything that he'd been through and all the power that he had that was part of his code. And so it just amazed me, just, you know, it just showed that he won. He took the victory. And so when I was looking, this was the first time I seen Jonathan mentioned. And so it automatically starts with the victory. It automatically started with the victory. And so it just shows how God had already had something for his life. Yeah. Just like each and every one of us. We might not know whether, you know, good or bad. When we're younger, things can happen. And majority of the time we think that, hey, it's horrible. And of course, sometimes it is horrible at that time. But how many know that it builds us up to a point? And there's growth from that point to the next step. And so it's just amazing that, you know, no matter what we go through on a day in and day out basis, or from when we were younger to where we are right now, we have grown. Amen? Amen. We have grown. And that's so important. So important. So next, if we could flip over to chapter 14, and we'll start at verse 8. Alright, so this would be 8 through 15. You know, I'll read this one in the voice. I don't know. Yeah, I'll read this one in the voice. It says, Jonathan, now we approach the Philistines and let them see us. If they say, wait there, we are coming to you, then we will stay where we are, and we will not advance. But if they say, come here, then we will go to them, and that will be a sign that the Eternal One has given us power over them. So they let the Philistines see them, and the Philistine soldiers ridiculed them. The soldiers saying, look, there are some Hebrews climbing out of the holes where they've been hiding. They signaled to Jonathan and his armor bearer, soldiers saying, come here, you two. Come here and we will show you something. So it says, the Philistines believed no one could climb up to them. And it says, Jonathan says to his armor bearer, follow me. The Eternal One has assured victory for Israel. Then Jonathan climbed up the steep incline, his hand and his feet, to the Philistine soldiers, his armor bearer right behind. When he appeared before the Philistines, they fell before him, and he and his armor bearer killed them right and left. In the first assault, Jonathan and his armor bearer killed about 20 men within an area of about a half an acre. When the news of the slaughter spread, it caused tremblings in the Philistine camp, among the soldiers in the field, even among the whole nation. The garrison of troops was confused and afraid, and the raiding parties who had terrorized Israel trembled. Soon the earth itself quaked, and an awesome trembling abounded. So in this, what I ended up learning, or just seeing, is that the belief in God that Jonathan had in that moment. Because he knew from being young all the way to the point that he was in that spot. Something had grew him to that spot that he was in to make a decision and tell his armor bearer, well, this is what's going to happen. Either God is going to do this, they're going to do this, or they're going to do this, and God is going to bring us through, or he'll let us know this is not for us. But it's just to be even at that position to where you understand that no matter what I've been through, that God still has something for me, and I still have that connection to know what he wants me to do. That's amazing more than anything. So I have 4 things that Jonathan had on his coat. And so the first is belief. Through that, what I just read, you've seen that in order for you to be in that position, it starts with belief. That's the only way you get to that position. If he did not have belief in that situation, who knows what could have happened. But since that was the basis of him making that move, he left early on in the verse. It talks about him and his armor bearer snuck away from the group, and then they decided to go. And he said, "Hey, this is my plan." And so then the armor bearer told him, "Hey, whatever you decide, I'm with you 100%." And so that connection also just shows that, which is my next point, he had leadership. When you have the ability to make a decision and conjure up a decision and then follow through with it, that's something that he had. And that's very important for, who he ended up being. The next point is endurance. In order for him to, and I know a lot of times we go through a lot of different things, but he's in a position of, he already told his armor bearer what he's going to do. Now, or let me see. Further up, it starts to talk about the rough terrain that they went through to get to the point of them seeing them. And just going through that alone, it has to build endurance. Because sometimes we'll get in stuff and like, it's not worth it. Is it really worth it? Should I continue? Should I push forward to try and endure and go through whatever I'm going through just to get to this certain point? Am I going to push enough to get to that point? And so we see for him to even make it to the point for the men to see him, he had to endure. And then when they called him up after seeing him, he had to go through something again after he had already went through something else to endure even more. Are you that close to your blessing? Are you that close to where God is leading you to say, well, I done came this far. Nah, you know what? I don't feel like doing no more. I don't want to go, I'm right there, but that's just a little too much. But instead, he got to the point of moving forward. I just went through all of this, but I'm going to go ahead and go through this too, because I already know that God has something for me in that place that he's leading me to. And he let them right there, they bow down before him. They bow down before him. So you would have never known. If he wasn't in that position, who knows that, what could have happened with him in the Philistines. But just being to that position for pushing through and enduring whatever he went through to get to that point is just amazing within itself. And it's just motivation for us day in and day out, no matter what you're going through, no matter how hard it is. Push, endure. It's worth it in the end.
You're so right.
It's worth it in the end.
Yes, it is.
Hey, go ahead.
It's also good to have the right people on your team, because he could have had a naysayer that wouldn't have supported his vision, and they could have got taken out. So it's always good to have a person that sees it the way you see it in God.
Yes, sir. And what I like about what you just said, and too, it could have been another thing too. A lot of times we like people that are like yes people to us. The yes men, the yes women, the yes friends. Oh, should I do this? Knowing I shouldn't do it. Yeah, girl, go ahead and do it. It could have been one of those where, if he wasn't, or if it wasn't this position, or he would have been like, well, I'm gonna go up there. I don't know, but I'll go up there and I'll try and kill them, and not letting God do His course instead of, him just going out there, Jonathan just going out there and doing it by himself. If he had a yes man right there, go ahead. He could have died that day because he wasn't going in the proper order that God wanted him to go in.
Right.
And so that's why it's extremely important, and we'll see further down with Jonathan and David's relationship, that it was important to have the relationship that they had, and then to be in the right position that God had them in.
Right.
Because it built them, like from young all the way up. We'll see in Jonathan, in David's story, and majority of us already know David's life story, so we know that it was some stuff that he went through, lion bears, being a shepherd, but it built him up to the person that he was. And we clearly seen when he went against Goliath who the person that he was. So it's just amazing that God, good or bad, we go through stuff throughout the years, and to be on the other side of, I know that I'm going in the direction that God wants me to go, is what's encouraging.
And the reason your yes point is so critical is because you can't have a regular guy watching the king's son. Not a regular guy.
Yeah.
Because he's responsible for Jonathan. Greatly responsible. Yep, and as I said early, in the next few verses down, hey, my decision is your decision. Well, see, before I can say that as an armor bearer, let me tell you what I've been doing. I've been watching you.
That's right.
I tell you what, you ain't finna.
But it's the leadership, to be in a position to where it's more than anything. If you are a leader, your people will follow you if they see you will do anything like for them. You know what I mean? If you put your life out there on the line for me, then I'm gonna put my life out there on the line for you.
Yeah.
But if you are the type to I'm gonna put my life out there on the line for you, and time comes, it's not a good situation. So it had to be something that throughout that time that armor bearer seen to make him be in a position to where I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
No matter what you say, no matter what you do, I'm with you. And so that's just amazing. That's what stuck out. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
And so, oops, I said 4 points. I have 5. No, I haven't said the 4. I was going to say the 4. But the 4th one was victory.
Yeah.
That's something that he had. That's something that he experienced. And that wasn't going to be the last time that he had victory. But it's just something to everybody. Raise your hand if you like to win. Anything. If you competitive, you like to win. That's what I'm talking about. Be there. Sort of kind of. But it's so important or it's so fantastic. Everybody gets a good feeling, no matter what it is when you win. Whether it's you playing Uno, whether it's you playing checkers, whether it's you playing some sports, it doesn't matter. But winning feels good.
Yeah.
And so just to be in a position of victory is amazing within itself. And then to be in a position to where you're victorious because you're in the right position with God.
Yeah.
That's even better because it is motivating to ourselves because it's keeping me, it's letting me know continue. Continue because you're going in the right direction. We don't take L's on God's side, we don't take them. So it's just that motivation that victory. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I like to win no matter what it is. So I'll take the victory. And so the last point, the 5th point was Prince. If he wasn't in it or throughout that time, if the father died, the son would go up into being the king.
Yeah.
And so you have to be a certain way when you are in that position. Your level or your level has to be a lot more than normal. You can't be a regular blowjob in a position to be a king. And you have to have went through something. You have to have certain morals, certain standards to be at in order to be in that position. And he just everything that's he's been through in his life, whether good or bad, represents him being in that position.
Yeah.
And that prince or an ability to be the king. So it's just amazing that for him, he was in that position, but receiving all the growth that he did throughout his life. Because that's the key in any position that we're in any situation in our lives. All right, so can we turn to 1 Samuel 16:11. And this will be in an amplified. And so this will be talking about the other part of it, which is David's side now. And so that's everything through Jonathan. And so y'all will probably be very, well, you'll see in a little bit. But how God did it, I was just like, never thought of it that way. But yeah. Let's go ahead. All right, so it'll be verse 11 and 12. So then he said to Jesse, "Are all your sons here?" Jesse said, there is yet the youngest. He is tending the sheep." Samuel said to Jesse, "Send for him, for we will not sit down to eat until he is here." Jesse sent and brought him. David had a healthy, reddish complexion and beautiful eyes and was fine looking. Fine looking, okay. The Lord said to Samuel, "Arise, anoint him. This is he." So David definitely was chosen. And a lot of times in our lives, you would think that we weren't chosen. The background that we've been through, where we came from, the things that's happened in our lives, you would think that we weren't chosen. But God has been, or from the beginning, God had chosen us. And that's why we're here tonight. And so I think more than anything, it's just amazing to be chosen.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Lord Jesus.
It's amazing to be chosen.
When you don't even know choosing is being done.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Way before. And this has just been something that I've been going through lately, and it goes directly with it because I've been in a season to where God has been placing me around a lot of different people. And He's been also pushing people out of my life. But more than anything, He's shown me that I'm not bringing people in and out of your life for no reason. It's not happening for no reason. So I'm in a position to where anybody that I meet or anybody that He brings into my life, I'm trying to see what can I gain from it. What can I give you, you know? Because the Bible talks about that, you know? It's going to be a positive and negative whenever you are, you know, in a friendship or a relationship. So either you will give something to them or either they'll give you something, whether positive or negative. And so for me, just having the mindset to be open to whatever God is doing. I might not know who He's, you know, or the reasoning for it. Just accepting it, or not just having my, you know, a closed mind to where, oh, you know, I only have this amount of friends, and you know, my friend list isn't open right now, so no, thank you, God, but I appreciate it. This is my crew, and I'm sticking with them.
Right.
You know, it's just having that open mindset of, you know, God, let Your will be done, because I know what You're doing is for a reason. I might not know the reasoning of it right now, but I'm going to take account of it, and you know, make it to where it's valuable in my life. Because it honestly is valuable. Whenever God is working in our lives, it's valuable. And so within that, it made it to where every single thing has been amplified for me. As far as situations or whatever, it's just so much more amplified. And I'm so grateful for it. But it's just like, I feel like I don't see everything as, you know, a blow by or a pass by. You know what I mean? It's bigger than you just passing me and saying hi in Walmart. That happened for a reason. It's a purpose for it. Maybe, you know, I needed to say something to build your self-esteem. You know, maybe you were going through something. Maybe I needed to pray for you. Maybe you needed to pray for me. Maybe there was something that I need to get out of. But just seeking and understanding more from the daily actions in our lives. And I feel like that goes so much with with David's life, because there was things that he went through with the lion and bear. Who would have known that he would have went through that? But it brought him. He went through that for a reason.
Oh yeah.
To get to the point that he was at against Goliath. If he didn't receive that, then how could he have been versus Goliath? And it's just awesome that we go through things, and a lot of times it feels that it's bad, not bad, but feels like it's hard. But at the end of the day, once you get to a position, it's like you done already went through it, and you didn't know you went through it.
Mm-hmm.
I done already moved through it, and so it just shows that the endurance and everything that he had, the power.
Yeah.
We have that, and so go ahead.
And I like that because they let you know David understood what he was what was going on in his life, because he did about we got to meet God who brought him through those situations, through his experience with the bear and all that.
Yeah.
Who gave him the power to do what he did, and he learned, he knew, and he learned from it, and trusted God.
Yes,
Even when the situation seemed like it was too big for me, I knew God brought me from this situation, out of this situation.
Yes, sir.
He's gonna bring me out of this situation here too. Regardless of how big this person is, or how big the situation is, God gonna bring me through it because of my experience with Him in the past. But a lot of times we think we done brought ourselves out of that, and not recognizing that God did more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's recognizing who brought us out of the situation.
Yes, sir.
And not relying on, I came out of this situation on my own.
Yeah. In addition to what you saying, it was something that you said that stuck out to me too. It was something that for each and every one of us, the only way we get defeated is if we defeat ourselves. And what I realized is at work, there was something, one of the guys I worked with, he ended up moving to a different area, and I had to learn what he learned and everything that I already know how to do. And so I was doing 2 jobs at once. And so the first day, I called my mom. And I'm like, oh my God, I knew it was going to be bad. Oh my God. Like, I'm telling you, that was about meltdown points, honestly. I was melting in that moment. So serious. And the reason why it was so difficult for me is because I had my mind closed out to learn it. I didn't want to do it. I honestly didn't want to do it. When I came over there, I already knew this is not what I want to do. And God made it to where I had to do it. Did I like it? Of course not, because I didn't want to do it. But He showed me that I had what was within me to do it. I just had to get to the point of not closing my mind out to it. Because when you close your mind out to it, that's it. Of course you won't learn it. You won't grow. You won't learn. But as long as you're open, God said, oh, I can teach you this. I can show you how to do this. And you can walk in it with all power and authority. But that's just something that I thought about because I went through that. And I know, like, I'm telling you, if you ask my mama right now, I was melting down. I was like, oh my God. And she was what do you call it? Helping me. But she was like, it's going to be better tomorrow. And literally tomorrow, I went in with an open mind and I received and I did everything just like I've been doing it for 20 years. And I was just like, wow, look at the power. Look at that power. I mean, I already had it. It's just a matter of, was I able to accept it?
That's such a blessing.
Yeah.
Was I able to accept it? You go on, go.
Yeah, I think it goes back to what you were saying a minute ago, that everything is for something. And a lot of times when we look at it that way, then, we move further quicker that,
Yes, sir.
hey, this must be something for me to benefit from. Because even our tragedies or whatever, it's for a reason.
Yes, sir.
Whether it's to build us for what may be coming next or whatever. So we have that kind of outlook that we can get on down the road quicker, because if you just look at what we all in here went through, and it started everybody on a journey somewhere, where you might not have got on that journey and you didn't experience it.
Yes, sir.
That's true. And you know what you were saying earlier too, sometimes you don't have any idea what you cannot have any idea what's in your presence, like what you're around. You cannot have any idea, because, and I was going back when you talked about David and Goliath, how he just giving bread. He just come to bring food to his brothers, and he see what's going on, and as he see what's going on, he put himself up like, no, I'm gonna go. Now David knew he had killed the lion, and David knew he had went through the process of God delivering him the bear into his hand. But they looking at him like, boy, please, having no idea. No, there's something in me that when I have to go up against stuff that's way bigger than me, it's something that come up out of me, and I'm able to do that thing. And I'm talking about it being a bear. So even when he put on, he was such a ruddy boy that even when he put on Saul's armor, it said it dragged, it didn't fit, it was too heavy for him.
Yeah.
All his little tail could hold was some rocks, some stones.
Yeah.
So to see, sometimes there's something in that package and you have no idea what it is. But that person, he knew, like, okay, ain't no way I made it from the bear alive.
Yes.
Something bigger than me, and he's seen someone within himself in those experiences that said, okay, so it's something in me that rises up that is bigger than me, and that gave him the ability to say, okay, bear kind of tall, yeah, and the lion is scary. Okay, Goliath, I think I can take him too. God's gonna do exactly what He did before. So that kind of stuff is like not knowing. You sometimes you just don't know what that person possesses or what they bring.
And with all you said, I just feel like the biggest tactic that the enemy uses is situations like this to be Bible stories.
It ain't real.
Like it's not real. This really could not have been an actual person going up against a bear and a lion.
Right.
Like it's just not possible. It's not possible.
delivering you.
But this has been. This is something. Everything that they've went through is motivation because it just shows us that we could be in. We are in the same position. We are. So it's just a matter of accepting it.
Well, for that day, that was your lion, that was your bear.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and your mind, opening your mind because that's your struggle right there. That's what you have to that's what you have to defeat.
Yes.
Because your mind is closed wide. Because you think you know something you don't know.
Yes. That's exactly the reason.
You think you're aware you need to be to accomplish what you need to accomplish in God. So I don't need nothing extra. Yeah, but then when God opens your mind, that's all you need to know. Whether it's tomorrow, next week, 20 years from now, all you need to know is this is something you need on your resume.
Yes, sir.
It don't matter what you think it is.
Right.
So now, the reason the story is told is because I had to open my mind and let God do what only He could do.
Yes, sir.
Now, for the next 5 years, I don't know why that happened. It don't mean nothing to me, but it's gonna mean something.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, yeah, who would ever think? When this stuff happens to him, and it's important, it's interesting the route that you're taking, because see, you're validating these coats. Is what you're doing, because initially, see, if he's exchanging his coat, well, we don't know nothing about Jonathan. What I want his coat for? He ain't nothing. He ain't nobody.
Amen.
But because we have limited information about Jesus' coat, we feel the same way.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And same thing. Now, why would a king's son want this boy's coat? Do you know what his coat being?
Boy, look.
Do you? Yeah.
Now, just because you wasn't there to witness it, don't discount the coat.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So now we have the 5 points that David had on his coat. All right. So first one was belief. That's the only way that he got to be who he was and to push through the lion and the bear and Goliath. That was the only way, because he had full awareness and knowledge and belief in God is going to do this. And so that's amazing, just like Jonathan. The second one is leadership. You have this little guy coming out there just to give his family, his brothers, the army, some food. And then he becomes the one to teaching everybody else in the nation.
Right.
This is what the ability of God can do. This little dude, the youngest brother out of all of them, come out here and show up. Everybody else and this guy's, he just defeated Goliath. Like how? But that's just the leadership. He was a leader ahead of time. He was the leader of the sheep, right? So we might not understand why he was a shepherd, but clearly now we understand why he was a shepherd.
Yes, sir.
Because he led them. He kept them out of harm's way. Hey, get back over here. Then stay back over on this side. But it got to a position to where everything that he went through came to fruition, and this is why you went through what you went through. For this moment in this time. And that's what happened. Go ahead.
When you think about it too, he was the smallest of the brothers. So the odds were already stacked against him in man.
Yes, sir.
Now, when you look at how God used him and how powerful it was, when you look at his story, you see that his conquest wasn't just average conquest. It wasn't that, oh, I struck the line behind in his side or whatever. It says he grabbed him by his beard. And face to face. And killed him. Who besides God can deliver this into his hand?
Come on.
That makes his confidence way
Yes.
bigger than what
Yes.
the average man was.
Yes.
Goliath the same way. I'm looking you in your face when I'm killing you. I'm not, oh, I didn't strike you in your leg and you bled out. I'm looking in your face. I'm gonna cut your head off. I'm in your face with your sword right here.
With no armor.
With no armor on. Okay?
The slingshot is the stone.
So, man, look, I mean,
Yeah.
hey,
Cole had some in
it was serious.
That's awesome. Anybody else? All right, so the next one is endurance. For him to get to that point within itself, he had to endure. He had to continue to push. I'm pretty sure he probably got tired of watching sheep and get back over here and get back over here and get back over here and then be into the position to where all his brothers in the house, and I mean, as you see that when he came, his dad didn't even mention him. He wasn't even mentioned. So you can only see based off of that how the household went. He out here, but God is doing something over there.
Oh my God.
So it don't matter what they doing and who's who and his name and he's the oldest and he has broad shoulders and it doesn't matter because God is doing something over here for him.
Right.
So no matter where you at in your circle or in your corner, in your closet, God is doing something.
Right.
So receive what he has for you. And then he's giving it to you for a reason. He's giving it to you for a reason. But it takes the endurance to push through, to get us, and I think more than anything, and that was for me, in that position, when I had my mind closed, after that, just pushing through it, got me to a position to where my confidence became fantastic. Because I knew that I didn't put myself in this position for one. And there's no way that I learned all this stuff that this other guy has been doing for 3 years. I learned it in a day, and I'm moving it like he's moving it. There's no way. And so my confidence can only go into God because he's the one that provided that for me. He's the one that gave it to me. He's the one that put me in positions and things that I went through that I had no idea the reason for it was to get to that position and then go ahead and, kill it, pretty much. I mean, he brought us and he put us in those type of positions, but it's for a reason.
That's right.
See, now, here's the struggle. If your boss tells you, now, Darren, I'm putting you through this because in 3 weeks, you won't be a vice president of the company. And you have to have this on your resume to even qualify. So I'm knocking stuff off the list so when your name comes up, ain't no issue for you. You're going to walk right in the spot. Dude, you suck it up like a champ. Because it's crystal clear. I don't care how hard it is. You don't call your mama in? If you call her, watch this. It's a different conversation. Yeah, they stretch me, mama, but I'm after something.
Yes, sir.
Watch this. The Boston showed me the finish line. Well, see, this endurance that David has is a different kind.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
See, the endurance you described for Jonathan, was physical strength. He climbed a mountain. This endurance is psychological. It's much harder because there's no finish line in sight.
Ooh.
That mind. Jesus.
Come
Yeah.
on.
How long do you have to run? See, a marathon is 26 and a half miles. But now, yeah, when you first start, dude, ain't no finish line nowhere.
Yeah. Not even
Not even on your mind.
Dude, you got plenty of running.
Yeah.
And plenty of tired and plenty of quit. And still ain't no finish line, nowhere in sight. He is being anointed for what? He don't know.
Yep.
Right? I
Right.
can't tell you.
And while the whole experience is exciting, I'd have been anointed in front of my daddy, anointed in front of my brothers. They overlooked, they tripping over me. Dude, this is an anointing that will happen years in the future.
Oh my God.
Ain't even no finish line in sight. Because after this great service, and you got oil dripping off you and all of this service, you good, you feel good. And if you don't get your child out there with them sheep, you still got
Down to the bottom.
I know that's right.
See,
Clean that mess up too.
David, he got to earn this stuff on his coat.
Yes, sir.
See, we say random occurrences, but it ain't
No,
random.
sir. Not at all.
The reason why leadership is on his coat is because it's the same field, it's the same group of people, it's the same enemy. It didn't change.
Yes, sir.
The sheep is the same as the people. They both dumb.
Yeah.
The lion and the bear was the same as Goliath. It was somebody who opposed him.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
And God had to deliver on both sides.
Yes, sir.
It's the same field. So ain't nothing changed. He got to earn this. So now when he gets to this point, hey man, yeah, now you got to start connecting dots. So now yeah, whatever it is that happened, now you got to hold that. Because God is going to show you later on how long it is. Now this is why I did what I did. And I didn't have to give you no pre-instructions as to why I was doing it.
Yes, sir. And that's what we want so much of the time. It's just, I want to know, God, where you sending me, where you taking me.
You want the
I just want to
instructions
see
dead
in the,
yeah,
Blueprint.
on my GPS,
You don't have
I
faith.
put in an address and I know exactly, you know, that it has an ending point to it.
Wow.
You know, I can get a preview of seeing all the different, turns left and right that I need to do before I get, in a time frame.
Yes.
I can see that. But God is like, no, wait it out, continue to push through, and I'll lead you where I need to lead you to. It's not on your time, it's on my time. And we just so used to that based in, this day and age. That's what we like everything fast, everything microwave, quick and fast. And I mean, God is just like, hey, it takes endurance, it takes time to get to a position in me where, you need to be at. It takes time.
I'm telling
Dude,
you.
the reality of that, right, it used to be a sign where 310 comes off of 45. It used to be a sign right there that said Houston, however many miles. It was so discouraging. Man, from there,
Yeah.
they took that sign down.
Everybody.
Because from there, that's too many miles, man.
Yeah.
I gotta go all that. That's too discouraging to know. Yeah, they take that sign down. And when you travel, you don't ever get no end where. When I leave for Chicago, man, I'm almost on the other side of St. Louis before I see my first Chicago sign. Dude, if they had a Chicago sign down here, 1,012 miles.
Yeah.
We ain't going.
Is it really worth it?
Yeah, we ain't going. And same thing, man, if God showed you the end, and more importantly, what you got to do to press to the end, you ain't going.
Quit. Long time ago. Yeah.
I just need you to get through today. Can you do that?
Wow.
Man.
Don't tell nobody that you
I know, right?
So did I give y'all the last one was 4? Oh, go ahead. Mr. Chiller.
3.
I was just thinking about talking about the two sheets, but it's also showing me the heart of David. Because God said, I'm gonna show you men that have a heart after me. And he had a heart of a shepherd. But and it's like, wow, he was willing to lay his life down for his sheep. No, his lion came. When I think about a lion, when you think about a lion, you ain't never been to the zoo, you ain't never seen one in person. You just don't know how, you can't imagine how big they are, man. I'm talking
Over
about, I seen
here.
a Bengal tiger. And it's
Not
like,
small.
you kidding me? I'm talking about, you ain't, talking about going in this area, talking about messing with him, fooling with him.
Yeah.
And they big, they huge, man. I'm like, they about almost long as that platform, man. And it's like, for this young kid, it's like, okay, God,
Wow.
we gonna handle this. I'm not gonna let this lion mess with these sheep. This hey,
Yeah.
and his heart was in it. For him to go up against, he was in it. And to go up against a bear, man, you know how big a bear is, man.
How strong? 10
His
men.
heart was in it, man. To
Strong
protect the
10
sheep.
men.
He was a little kid. To protect the sheep.
Yeah.
Then, and it's like, God, this child got a heart after me. And he was the same way about God's people, you know. So it's like, wow, this is crazy. Wow.
Yes, sir. You go ahead. Ms. Ruth?
Oh, yeah, I was just thinking about when you talk about waiting on God, you know, and like even with your GPS, when you're waiting on God, you're so interested in the outcome or that destination.
Yeah.
But even when I drive, because I drive a little, even when I'm driving, I put my destination in the GPS, I don't even realize what I'm learning just in the driving. How much of a better driver I'm becoming, you know, when something fell off the back of somebody and I'm able to pull, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not even picking up all that, you know. And a lot of times it's more about that than the end destination. What's happening in the journey with you? Because he got the destination covered.
Yeah.
Our mind is so focused on the end of it till we just miss what's going on in the journey.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, I'm telling you.
No,
You know, yes,
And so what? The last one was endurance, right?
Yeah.
All right. So the next one is victory. So I mean, clearly he's been victorious through all the things that he's went through.
Yep.
And as a king, he will continue to be victorious. So you know, for him dealing with protecting the sheep, that was just the beginning. And I'm pretty sure at that point in time, he had to continue to believe in God to even get to the point of continue to be victorious. So that's that one. And then the last one is a little different. But at the end, he was a warrior. He was a warrior. More than anything, I love his confidence in God. Because there is nothing that anybody can stop, me from doing or block me from doing. Because I have that power. I have that authority. And God has given it to me. And so he was, further, when he is a king, when he go out into battle, you've seen how powerful he was. And the people that he had was. Even when he went up against, or when he was at battle with Saul, everybody was saying, oh, David killed, his 10,000, Saul, his 1,000, or something like that. And so, just showing the power that he had and how much of a warrior he was in that position. But it took everything that he went through to put him in that position. All right, so that's the end of those two. If y'all see, there are a lot of similarities in between them. And more than anything, I wondered, well, why was there a need for exchange of coats? And so I'm sitting there, and Holy Spirit tells me, this covenant was for a specific point in time. You can't, and what he pretty much showed me in that is, in order for you to get to your next level, it takes an exchanging. Everything that you've went through and you have accrued, it's a point in time where you're at your limit. and it takes an exchange to get you to your next level
Boy.
and to put you in a different position.
Boy.
Yeah.
My God.
And so when he showed me that, it was amazing. For one, is because I'm dealing with that in my job. It is crazy because when I first got at this job, I'm wondering like, you know, whatever. But as of lately, I've realized that God has specifically put me there. And I know, and I tell so many people at work, I'm here for a reason. You may think that I'm just here to do this job, but I'm here for a reason. When I applied for that job, God, and I applied for different companies, but God made it to where everything else, I heard nothing. And then I heard from this place, and I called, interview, God, we in there. Like, how did that happen that fast? But it's because it was a reason. It was for a reason. But, hold on, I'm a little too excited. Oh man, it was for a specific point in time. It was for a specific point in time. And for us to get to that next level, God is saying that you have been at the point. You've received everything that you can receive at this level. It takes an exchange to get you in another position. It takes an exchange to get you in another position. And that's where I'm at right now. That's where I'm at right now because I've went through a lot of different stuff. But it takes an exchange to get me to my next level. It takes it. And it's not taking a part of you, but it's taking everything that you've learned and everything that the person you're exchanging with, everything that they've learned and everything that they've been through. Not saying when you give this code up, everything that you have done is, you know, to fault, because you still have what you have. Right. But you're giving them everything that you receive. And they're giving you everything that they receive. And it's only going to make you and them better. Because you get more power, more authority, and things that you have never went through, but you have that knowledge of now. With that exchange of codes. But it was just showing more than anything. It takes, I mean, it's a specific point in time. And I think it just amazes me more than anything because don't quit. Don't quit. It makes it to where everything that you've been through, it's for a reason. It's for a purpose.
Yes, sir.
All of this, yes. You're not just walking every day thinking, you know, like, oh, I'm doing this and oh, I'm doing that. But no, God is in control.
Yes, sir.
He sure is.
He's in
Oh, I'm
control of
telling
this.
you.
I'm receiving this for a
That is
reason.
something else.
All right, so if you look at both of them, they were both in good areas. They had good lives, but it had to take for them to get to another level for both of them, and it took for them to also give up and receive their strength, because they both had strengths, weaknesses, and needs. But it takes for them to be in a position to give what I've already received up. Because see, at some point in time, and this is how I was at my job, God put me in a position to where, and this is, when I'm telling you, this is lately, I had the ability to move into another level. And for me, I'm content where I'm at because I'm just like, I make good money, I can, you know, I'm chilling. And then God is like, no, you're going to another level, whether you like it or not. You know, I mean, so I had different people like, hey, you should do this. Hey, you should do this. And God did it in a way because I had a manager, and the manager already knew that I wasn't really trying to. So God decided to, or I already told the manager, I don't really care to move or anything like that. You know, I'll stay where I'm at. God moved the manager. And I was just cool with it. I mean, I'm cool with this manager. And so when I seen that, I knew without a doubt that God was putting me in a position to where he forced it on me. And so the thing is then, like, as soon as they changed the manager, my new manager says, so, I'm going to send you this Excel file, this, I don't know, it's a development plan. He said, so, I want you to fill out this development plan, and I want you to put on everything that, you know, you feel this weak, you know, weakness and all your goals and everything that you want to do. And I'm just like, I really don't want to do this. I don't want to, God. I don't. I'm cool where I'm at. But it went back to something that I had already went through. That position to where I had to open my mind. And ever since that point, which was about 2 to 3 weeks ago when I made this decision, God has been opening the door. And so it took that decision once again. And I think more than anything is what I want all of us to receive, because I'm thankful that I received it in that moment, is receive what you can receive like based on what you went through. Actually receive what you needed to receive when you went through stuff, because it's going to help you further down the road. And so if I didn't receive that then, I would be in this position now trying to figure out what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But as soon as I seen God make a couple of moves, I automatically knew, hey, I'd already been through this before. So now I know there's one thing that I need to do. Open my mind and receive it. And that's where I'm at now. So it's just amazing that I've been through all of these different things, but God is, you know, still going. And like I said, do I like to? But no. But this is a part of, this is his process. Or this is my process, but this is what he has for my life. And I think that's what I have to realize more than anything. And it's not just my life. It's every, you know, whoever's around me life.
Yeah.
And whoever God has for my life. So that's, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Man, my story is similar to yours. Man, if I could just, wow. I just, in my job, remember being a stay-at-home mom, and then it was time for me to get out. And I remember telling Quentin, I said, you know, I've been out for so long, and I just believe God could send me a job without me having to do resumes. I know people are into that and stuff, but for me, it wasn't like that. I asked God, you know, you could just send me a job, whatever. 2 weeks, I got a phone call. Karen, are you looking for a job? Like, yeah, been there ever since. And that was in 2009. I can remember having hectic days, and it's just overwhelming at the beginning. And 9 years later, you know, I don't be doing nothing. Sometimes I'm just sitting there and couldn't tell you, you know, God is just, and I just allow him. I don't strive for management positions. I don't strive for promotions. If they come, Karen, we need you to go over here. I've been at different locations, like 3 years over here, 3 years over there. They're steady moving me. Now I'm at a car dealership now that we have, and it's just like, wow, just when you look back and you just let God do it, I ain't seeking none of that upper stuff. I don't need titles. I'm not that type of person. But just to see when you look back, it's like, wow. And I tell the young people sometimes, I say, I remember just humping when I first kind of just have to be here like 7 in the morning, cleaning the parking lot, cleaning the lobby, you know, all by myself in the dark. Then God sent an old white man to come help me every morning, to the point where he did it before I even got there. Wow. You know, I've seen God this whole time. And so just to hear your story, you know, it's been really cool.
I got you.
Go, Sydney. Okay. I'm not going to take them. My last job, I don't know if y'all knew, I was a manager at a New York deli place. And I've only worked in fast food. So I quit that job. And when I quit it, I was like, okay, I'm tired of looking for jobs at this point. Like, it's not, I don't like doing it. Right. So I'm applying to like food because that's what I know what to do. And I get a call from DSW, shoe place. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I guess I'll go. So, wait. It was a Friday night, and I had I was supposed to start work at a place in Deep Ellum. It was a food place on that Monday. And we were here Friday night, and I got a call from DSW saying they want to interview me on Monday. So I was like, okay. So I went and I got the job. And I was under a lady named Michelle, but Michelle left like maybe a month ago. So I was dealing with this lady named Charm. And Charm is rough. I mean, Charm makes me want to hit her in the face. Like, Charm, she talks down on me. I'm like, Charm, please. And at first I'm like, Lord, why did you bring me here? Why? I don't even know anything about retail. And they had me doing cashier. I can do cashier food. She was different. we have a program that you have to sign people up for.
Yeah.
And he had a contest going on, like if people can get the most, and you can't get any no's, which is the person tells you no, they don't want to sign up. So at first I was terrible. I was like, I don't even know why they got me up here, honestly. Like I got like 6 no's. I'm struggling. So I started to get down on myself, and I was calling my dad. I'm like, Dad, why? Like I'm about to go off on charm. I'm tired of working here right now. And he was just like, you just got to keep pushing. Like just you don't know why you're there. Just keep pushing. So I'm like, okay. So I started getting better with the VIP signups, and then I turned out to be the best like person up there who has them. I won the last week contest. I had 29.